let's approximate irrational numbers. We have the square root of 71 here, who's not perfect. So that means it's going to be a decimal answer, and he is considered irrational. So the square root of 71 would be between 64 and 81. 71 is between those two numbers. So let's look at it on a little number line. So I know the square root of 71 is going to be between the square root of 64 and the square root of 81. The square root of 64, by the way, is 8, and the square root of 81 is 9. Now, think about where 71 would be on this number line. 71 is 10 away from the 81, but it's only like 7 away from the 64. So it must be a little bit closer to the 8. So the square root of 71 is closer to the 8 if you're looking at it from the number line's point. Okay, well, let's write down a little sentence over here. The square root of 64 is less than the square root of 71, which is less than the square root of 81. The square root of 64 is 8, which is less than the square root of 71, which is less than 9. It's between 8 and 9, so they may ask you that. But it is closer to 8. All right, let's look at the square root of 8. The square root of 8 is not my perfect square list, but 9 is, and that's very, very close. So it's between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. The square root of 4 happens to be 2, and the square root of 9 happens to be 3. So the square root of 8 is really close to the square root of 9. It'd be more over here. So there's my square root of 8. So it's closer to the square root of 9, which is 3. All right, so let's write this. The square root of 8 is between the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is less than the square root of 8, which is less than the square root of 9. So that's 2 is less than the square root of 8, which is less than 3. So it's really closer to 3. Closer to 3. Now let's go back and use our calculator and see what it actually is. The square root of 71 is 8.42. Approximately 8.4, okay, which would be closer to the 8 than the 9. And then let's do the square root of 8, which is 2.82, which is approximately 2.82, which means it's closer to the 3.